My name is Katrina West. I work for TNS. I'm a managing consultant and I've worked at TNS System 3 in the Edinburgh office for around 17 years. The survey was conducted on behalf of the Scottish Broadcast Commission as part of their investigations into television production and broadcasting in Scotland. The main objectives of the survey were to investigate adults' perceptions of broadcasting coverage within Scotland. We looked at perceptions of and satisfaction with the way Scotland's cultural identity is portrayed by broadcasters, and also in relation to news and Scottish news coverage within Scotland. It was a key requirement of the survey that the survey was conducted amongst a representative sample of the population, adults living in Scotland. The survey is carried out in home. We select a large number of sampling points across Scotland so that it is representative geographically and also representative according to MSP. The primary focus of the research was on television broadcasting rather than radio or the internet. The majority of people, as we did discover, do in fact use television as their primary source of media consumption. The 7 different aspects of television programmes that we covered were selected to reflect the key types of programmes that are typically shown on TV. Essentially, we summarised the various classifications that are normally used in television production and asked questions in relation to those. And also these were the key areas that were of interest to the Scottish Broadcast Commission. We found that all 7 different aspects were important to people, but in particular there were 3 that were rated more highly than all these others, and these included reflect Scotland's character, include everyone in Scotland, and inform and teach about Scotland. We found that people find it important that they know which items of news relate to Scotland, but in practice this clarity is often lacking. In the survey, over half respondents only sometimes or never or indeed rarely were able to tell which items of news related to Scotland and which did not. Of all the different types of news stories, clarity was most likely to be lacking in terms of entertainment, arts and music. More generally, respondents were more likely to be satisfied than dissatisfied with news coverage within Scotland. However, the level of dissatisfaction was fairly high. There was demand for a 1-hour-long news programme specifically for Scotland, and this was higher than for the current arrangement. However, the level of support for the current arrangement was also high. Aside from improving Scottish news and improving the clarity of Scottish news reporting, there is certainly an appetite for Scottish news issues generally, as we did find that a high number of people expressed interest in seeing Scottish issues debated and discussed out with the normal news programme format. Television, by some margin, is the most popular platform for obtaining news, and that is international news, UK news, Scottish news. And newspapers really provide the secondary role for that. However, when we investigated local news, the newspapers came to the fore and they were the dominant source, with television providing secondary backup for obtaining information on the news. Radio and internet are also used for obtaining information. However, their role is much more limited than that of newspapers and television. And we're talking about internet on the computer rather than internet on the mobile at the moment, which is only used by a very, very small minority. Views towards the need for more Scottish coverage of different types of programmes were very mixed. At the highest level, interest was greatest for factual programmes and for history and heritage type programmes, with about half our sample indicating that there was too little of this type of coverage. At the other end of the scale, however, drama appeared to be an area where there was less interest in providing more Scottish coverage, and also that was true of news programmes. The lowest level of consensus in terms of whether there's too much coverage or too little coverage was found with respect to sports programmes, where we had equal numbers saying there was too little and the similar number saying there was too much. Whilst we did find that people would like to see competitive Scottish national football team matches live on TV, on terrestrial TV, rather than on pay-per-view, this was not a surprising finding. What was more interesting was that even amongst those who generally don't watch Scottish football matches on television, they too felt that they should be free on terrestrial TV rather than on pay-per-view channels. Interest in a new Scottish channel was very strong, with over 80% expressing support for this, and around half this group also said that they were strongly interested in this. However, whilst the new channel is of interest in principle, finding a mix that is going to suit all tastes is likely to be very challenging, as we asked people to indicate which types of programmes they would like to see, and we found significant differences according to age and also according to socio-economic status. Copies of our report and details of all those involved in the research can be found on the Scottish Government's website. The Scottish Commission also has their own website, and again our report and their interim reports can be found there.